Now, guys, in module 4, lesson 1, polynomial functions, we talked about something we call it power function, ax to the power n. A, we call it leading coefficient, and A is the degree, right? N, positive integer, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or and if it's 0, it's still polynomial, and we call it constant function, but it's not our case for now, okay? So A is the leading coefficient, which is 5 here, and 4 we call it the degree of the power function. Done? After that, we move to how to find the end behavior for this kind of functions. Case 1, if A is positive and n is even, we have this case. As x goes to positive infinity, f also to positive infinity, x negative infinity, f also positive infinity. Like the quadratic function, when A is positive, the parabola opens upward, so both here we have positive infinity. And as A is negative, when n is even, both down, so here the function in both cases goes to negative infinity, like this one. And case 3 and 4, we talked about as n is odd. As n odd, if A positive, this is the end behavior, and is A negative, we are in now. And here in case 4, if A is negative and n is odd, this is the case, this is the graph. This is the graph for which function? For negative x power 3. هذه الجراف for the function x power 3. Got it? But it is reference for us for any odd power. Okay? But here, what's the end behavior? As x goes to negative infinity, the function goes up, right? So here, as x goes to negative infinity, the function goes to positive. And as x goes to positive infinity, the function where goes down. As x goes to positive infinity, the function goes to negative. So here we have opposite, but here same. Negative, negative, positive, positive. Here, negative, positive, positive, negative. Got it? So we have different. Now, how I will ask you about these 4 cases. How I will ask you. For example, what is the end behavior for the following functions? The following functions, okay? 1, first function, for example, f of x equal 2x power 5, 2 f of x equal negative 5x power 8. Okay? Done? Now, to know which case, you need to determine A and n. A is positive, negative, n is odd or even. Let's start with the question 1. No need to graph if you understand the 4 cases. No need to know the graph to know the end behavior. You can depend on the cases just to write the end behavior. Now here, the first function, f of x equal to x power 5, a is what? 2, which is positive. And n is how much? 5, which is odd. Now I will go to my cases and search about a positive and n is odd. Which case? A positive and n is odd here, right? A positive and n is odd. This is the end behavior. Negative, negative, positive, positive, 5 only. So here, as x goes to positive, negative infinity, the function goes to negative infinity. As x goes to positive infinity, the function goes also to positive infinity, right? The second question here, f of x equal negative x power a. A is what? A is negative 5, which is what? Negative. And n is how much? 8, which is even. Now I'll search about this case in my 4 cases. A is negative and n is even. Which case? Case 2. A is negative and n is even. This is the end behavior in front of you. Negative, negative, positive, command negative, because the parabola will be downward. So here, the end behavior as x goes to negative infinity, the function also to negative infinity. And as x goes to negative positive infinity, the function also to negative infinity. You understand how we use the cases, right? For all the cases, guys, what is the domain? Remember the domain? In the polynomials or the power functions, the domain and the range are all real numbers. If you see your book in the first page 213, طلع الكيس الأولى. What we have down under the case, they wrote what? Domain, all real numbers. Range, all real numbers more than or equal 0 if n is even. If n is even and a positive. Got it? So I will go and write the domain and the range for each case. That's it. Yeah, I will go to the cases. Case 1. طلع case 1. Focus. Now, if you have x power 2 and x power 3, okay? عشان تفهم الليلة كلها. If you have x power 2 and x power 3, here n is even and here n is what? Odd. So if you put positive number in the even power, it's still positive, right? If you put negative number in the even power, still positive. Like negative 2 to the power 2 equal positive 4, right? Got it? Again, if you put positive and negative numbers in place of x, the answer always what? Positive. يعني الباور even will not give you negative value. Power even will not give you negative value. But power 3, power odd, not only power 3, power 5, 7, 9, whatever. If you put positive, the answer positive. If you put negative, the answer negative. Got it? So the even powers always gives positive. The odd powers, positive gives positive, negative gives negative. Let's take how or why. Okay? For example, look at the board. If f of x equal مثلا x power 2 و f of x equal x power 3. Here, if I put f of negative 3 and f of 3, and here also, I will put f of negative 3 and f of 3, okay? Here and here. And see, in the first one, put negative 3 here, negative 3 power 2, positive 9, negative 3 times negative 3, right? And here, 3 power 2, command positive 9, right? So the power even always gives what? Positive. Top. Power odd, negative 3 power 3, negative 27, negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3, 3 times. The first two positive 9, right? Multiply negative 3, it turns to negative 27. Got it? But here, f of 3 positive, 3 power 3, positive 27. So if you substitute negative, the answer here is what? Negative. Positive, positive. But in the even, negative, positive, the answer diamond is positive. Not only x power 2, I'm talking about power 2, power 4, power 6, power 8, an even value, an even degree. Not only power 3, power 5, power 1 or even power 7, power 11, power 13, whatever. Got it? Fine. When this power gives negative, if before it has negative number, يعني if I add here negative 2x power 2, this what it will be, negative 2 multiply this value, right? Negative 2 times positive 9, it turns to negative 18. So here depending on A and depending on N. Got it? So we will go to the cases. For each case, we will write the domain and we will write the range for it. The domain for our cases is R. The domain is what? R. It's different when in the range. Okay? Yeah. So we'll go to the cases. Yeah, case 1. A is positive and is even. The domain R دائما هاي الدومين R كلهم الدومين R. الرينج what's the range here? Always gives positive, right? Y more than or equal 0. شو يعني more than or equal؟ يعني no negatives. Got it? So when we have no negatives, if A positive and N is what? Even. Got it? Fine. Let's go here. If A negative and N is even, الدومين شو حكينا الدومين دائما؟ الدومين R. الرينج will be Y less than or equal 0. Got it? Because N even always positive, but always multiply with negative. So negative times positive, negative. Got it? So if the domain R and the range will be Y less than or equal 0. Got it? فهمنا الidea؟ فهمنا. Case 3. Case 3. This is 1, 2. Case 3. If A positive and N is odd. N is odd. ركز معي الآن. N is odd gives positive or a negative. ما في مشكلة, right? So here, if the domain is R, the range command gives positive, negative for all R. Here, if A is negative and N is odd, take example عشان نفهم. For example, if Y equal negative 2x power 5, for example, هاي A is negative or N is what? Odd. Assume I want to put negative 1 in place of x and positive 1. Let's see the answer. Y at 1 positive, Y at negative 1. Y at 1, negative 2, 1 power 5, right? This is positive, multiply negative, the answer will be what? Negative, right? But Y of negative 1, negative 2 with negative 1 power 5. This is what? Negative. حكينا n power odd gives negative. If you're negative times negative, positive. So we have negative and we have and 0 if x is 0 for sure. So here if R, if the domain is R and the range is what also? Or real number. Where is the difference if n is even? If n is even. اطلع الكيسز عندك in page 213 تحت in case number 1. See case number 1 in your book. In your book, guys. It's written all in your book. Everything is written. The leading coefficient here, we're talking about A. A is the leading coefficient, right? If A positive and degree even, شو كاتب لك تحت؟ الدومين or real numbers, a range or real numbers more than or equal 0. If the تحتيها مش جنبها. Okay? If the degree even and the leading coefficient negative. See it? تحت شو كاتب؟ If the domain or real numbers, the range or real numbers so less than or equal 0. Got it? Go to the odd, up and down. The domain will range always what? Real now, real, right? Got it? So here I can give you about my example. Here I can tell you what's the domain and the range for each function now, right? What's the domain for this one depending on the case? N is odd, right? If N is odd, على طول الدومين R will range also or real numbers. Or real numbers. طب here N is positive, sorry, N is even and A is negative. Who can tell me the domain and the range?